Hey guys, Matthew with Sierra Pool Company here. I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes on a swimming pool build from beginning to end. So you'll get to see the excavation process all the way to finishing the pool with plaster and filling it up with water. So step one with a pool build is always demolition. Now in this case, this homeowner had some concrete, as you can see, with quite a bit of steel in it. With demolition comes grading and just getting the backyard to the right level for swimming pool excavation. And the excavators will go ahead and run string lines and then set wooden forms, which you'll see here in a second. There you go. Now that's going to be the top of the bond beam when they shoot it with Shotcrete, those wooden forms. We have a Bobcat and excavator on this job. It's a full-size excavator, which is really nice from a time frame standpoint and a pricing standpoint. The smaller the tractor you get in, the more pricey it becomes. You can see the old pool underground there, about 20 inches below. You see the concrete there. We actually found an old swimming pool, which we had to take out. This is the preliminary plumbing phase. So we have our skimmer in, the main drains, and all the main lines here go into the equipment area. Now, the same company that does my plumbing also does my steel. So if you see here in the pool, you can see all the rebar. Well, this is done in tandem, more or less. You typically want to do your plumbing then steel, but it doesn't really matter the exact order. It does make it easier to do the plumbing then steel after, though. That kind of gives you a good idea of how much plumbing is actually involved on a swimming pool. It's pretty intense. Now the next phase is going to be shotcrete. So here you go. Now this is basically just concrete that's being shot as the pool shell at a high pressure. It's 4,500 PSI concrete, so it is really, really strong. I think typical concrete used for like sidewalks and whatnot is more like 2,500 or maybe like 3,000. This is a really fun stage to go out and watch. It's pretty cool seeing how they shape the steps. As you can see this guy doing right now, he's shaping the step inside the spa. And they'll run steel strings, and those strings are held in really tightly. So when they take these tools to go shape a step or the top of the bond beam, they can feel for those strings, and it helps guide them on where to cut and shape. Now this is the pool shell after the shotcrete's cured out a little bit, and you can see all of our plumbing return lines, the main drain at the bottom there, and our spa raised 18 inches with a little spillway there. I think that's a 3-foot spillway. The back of the pool here has a 6-inch raise, and we did that more or less to act as like a little curb. And here's our handmade tile. So this tile is handmade in Mexico, hand painted. It's really cool. It's made of clay. It's a little unique, so you either kind of love it or hate it. I personally love it, and the homeowner did too, obviously. So we went ahead and did a brick bullnose coping for this pool, and the mason on site here is amazing at what he does. So he went ahead and cut these corners, and they're mitered corners. You can see that right there. And anyways, the craftsmanship is just really top notch. And these handmade tiles are not all the exact same size. So because they're not all the same size, it really does make it pretty tough with setting them, especially when you're putting them next to another tile that's made by a machine. So these blue tiles are a factory made tile, which is more precise in dimensions. Now we're at our concrete phase here. So that's Tyler from Odell's Complete Concrete, and he's filling up our skimmer lids. And these pour lids are really cool because if you have concrete poured around the pool, your skimmer lid doesn't stand out like a big white piece of plastic would. It's a little more incognito, and it just looks a little bit nicer. The concrete process is another really fun stage to watch. I think the shotcrete, concrete, and then plastering phases are probably the most fun to watch. Whoops, a little bit of splatter there. So there's two ways of doing the steel when you do a concrete deck. You could do, first of all, you don't even need to use steel in many cases. Some people don't use it. If you do use it, you either use dobies, which kind of holds it up off the ground. Depending on the thickness of the concrete though, it's sometimes better just to lay it out, and then as you pour the concrete, to pull it up inside the concrete. Because sometimes the dobies could actually raise it up too much, and you'll get inconsistencies. But yeah, again, that's watching these hand tools work the cement is pretty cool, and it's really satisfying to watch. These videos on our Instagram really do quite well. A lot of people like to watch this stuff, and I can see why. I do too. We also have individual videos for every stage of this process, guys. So if you did want to go watch just a concrete video or the plaster, they're a little bit longer, obviously, and I go more in depth and more in detail on all these phases and how they're done. This is just kind of a general overview of what it takes to build a swimming pool. Now, this is a broom finished concrete. So you see him running that broom, and that creates a really nice slip resistant surface. Obviously, being around water as a pool deck, you really want to have a good texture so you don't slip. Now, this is our plaster crew. This is the final stage of pool construction in most cases. We had a lot of rain, so he was using the torch to do like a moisture check, more or less, on the moisture there. And now they're applying the plaster. So this is a mini pebble finish. So it's by NPT, National Pool Tile, and it's a mini pebble, which is really, really durable, and it comes with a lifetime warranty if you use an approved company to install it. And again, like I said earlier, this is one of the more satisfying steps to watch too. So if you are a homeowner and you are building a swimming pool, keep an eye out for the shotcrete phase, the concrete, and then the plaster. These are really fun to watch. If you have kids at home and you guys want to go out and kind of peek on the process, these are ones to keep an eye out for. And obviously, digging the pool is really fun too, especially if you have young boys. They like to go out and see the tractors do their thing. But so this is the plaster after it's done, and it looks a little funky right now, but just wait. There you go. So they come back and they acid wash it, and that exposes the aggregate in the plaster, and it basically just finishes it off with how it's supposed to look. And then there's a 28-day startup process with any new pool, so the pool has to have the right water chemistry and all that other good stuff to make sure it cures properly. But yeah, this is the final step. There still needs to be some cleanup that needs to take place, so don't mind the dirty coping and whatnot. But this was a really fun build, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching the process. Take care.